welcome back to the Veganless podcast, episode 8. We're chugging along there. We have Jake from Rutt's Mini Mounts here. I'm going to go ahead and let you give your introduction here.
Well, first off, 8 is my lucky number, so that's just real fitting.
There you go. It's meant to be.
Yeah, it was. I'm with Rutt's Mini Mounts. We basically take your mount, make them smaller. We can take shoulder mounts, turn them into Euro mounts into shoulders, sheds into whatever you want, and everything in between. So it's a fun little niche of the industry that we're in over here.
Yes. Been seeing your stuff. It's quite unique.
Thank you.
Definitely thinking about a nice piece for the podcast table at some point. So we're definitely going to talk later on.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Right. So I always like to start this out with, what's one piece of advice you'd give a new hunter?
Ooh, a new hunter. I'm going to say be where they are. And what I mean by that is you got to scout. You got to know where the animal that you're trying to hunt is, So if I could give any advice, it would be start scouting sooner rather than later. Even in the off season, go find where they are. And the sooner you're out there scouting and putting in the work and the miles, more likely you're going to be successful when it's time to release the arrow or pull the trigger.
Right. Scout more than you hunt, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Get out there, put in the work. Off season, you can be e-scouting, boots on the ground, you name it. So, yeah, that's a great piece of advice.
Oh, yeah.
So, as I mentioned, I like talking, hunting stories, just BS hunting. So, do you have any memorable hunts you'd like to share the stories of? Like, what's your favorite hunt?
Oh, man. I have 2 that come to mind as soon as you say that. So, I'll do both if you don't mind.
Yes, of course.
The first one, I didn't kill anything, but it was it was in Alabama. I'm not going to say where.
Oh, come on.
But me, my best friend, my brother-in-law, and my father-in-law were all hunting the same property, just different points all around it. And it was within, earshot where if someone pulled the trigger, you kind of just knew. You could tell by where someone was sitting who pulled the trigger, and everybody would pull out their phones. What'd you get? So I think 2 days prior to this, I got a nice 8-point buck. So, I mean, once you get that one, it's kind of the pressure's off. And I was in the stand just kind of enjoying the breeze. And I actually had a nice, I think he was a 7-point, walk past me. And I got a lot of good videos of him. I was just going to let him walk. Beautiful. So I was sitting in the stand and boom, right over my shoulder. And I knew that it was my father-in-law. And so pull out my phone, text him immediately. He doesn't answer for a second. And then when he texts back, he's like, yeah, I got him. He's trying to play it all down. Like, oh, yeah, nice looking bug, blah, 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 blah. So I wasn't really out there to shoot anything. I was just out enjoying sitting out there. So I got out of the tree and hauled butt to where he was. And when I got there, the target buck that we had all been watching was laying there in the brush. And he's sitting there trying to play it off like it is.
Just play it cool.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is like we're hunting whitetail, but this thing is like an elk sitting on the ground.
Right.
So helped him drag it out, about killed us. He was a big buck. And so that was just awesome. I mean, sitting there with him. But while all that commotion was going on, my best friend also shot a buck. But we were so caught up with dealing with that, we didn't hear his buck shot. So he texts us and he goes, hey, guys, that one was me. And we're all like, what?
He's like, hey, remember me?
Yeah. So he shot a nice buck too. And so we didn't even know that he shot. We were loading up this. We had to go get the tractor to haul this buck that my father-in-law got out. And my best friend's like, don't mind me. I'm just hauling this buck by myself.
Got it.
So it was a great day.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice day. And with you getting one days before too.
It just
sounds like a good season. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second one.
Yes.
This one. Okay. So like I said, scouting. There's this one buck in this spot in South Carolina that I caught on camera and I just became obsessed with him. I was like, I have this buck. Scouted like crazy, e-scouted. I was out there in the woods stomping through his territory, trying to find wherever he was. I think I put 4 cell cams in this one little area just because I wanted to see where he was
trying to lock in his home range.
Exactly. And so I started getting pictures of him pretty frequently, and I was patterning him out. I was like, all right, this time, this day, okay, this weather, this wind, I had him locked in. And my best friend, and this is a great story, me and my best friend, we're still super tight. I just like I texted him, I was like, hey man, I've got him today, or tomorrow is the day that I get him. And I was gonna hunt tomorrow night. I was like, I'm getting him. All roads are leading to him. Tomorrow's the day. He replies, all right, well, I'll hunt in the morning then there.
Oh no.
And I was like, you dick.
Right. That sounds like some shit my friends would say.
I didn't care. I mean, if he would have got it, I would have been through the roof for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because him and I share pins, we share cameras. I mean, everything. We hunt together.
If any of you out there want to share your pins with me and build that kind of friendship, just hit me up. Yeah.
Me too. But so he goes out there in the morning, and I'm a little salty. I'm like, man. He gets out there. He said does were blowing at him.
Oh no!
He didn't see nothing. He just heard the does. He said he blew the whole place out. He was like, sorry, man. He's like, I don't think it's gonna happen there today. But I was like, you know what? I'm still going. So I think he left the tree at like 11 a.m. I was sat in the exact same tree at noon, or I got out there at noon. I climb up, I'm like, oh, God, I just feel it. Like, I just feel like he's going to be here.
Right.
And in that spot where we hunt there before, obviously, no activity until like sun's going down.
Yep.
This big buck that I had been targeting walked out at 5 p.m., bright as daylight, and he into my wind. My wind is blowing straight at him, and he just walks right to me. Pulled the trigger. He dropped in 10 yards. And I mean, I was on cloud 9.
There we go.
I texted my buddy who had just sat there before. I was like, he's down. And he was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, he was huge. He was big, nice 8-point for South Carolina. Dragging him out of the woods about killed me.
Right.
God, it was worth it.
There's nothing that reminds you you're out of shape like dragging a deer.
Yeah, especially uphill.
Yeah.
All the thicket. Oh man.
Do you have a mini mount of him?
Yeah, that tiny one right there.
Okay.
Doesn't really do him justice.
Right.
But
I was gonna say, like, I feel like you're gonna have one of him.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you primarily rifle hunt then, or do you archery, or do you a mix, or?
Yeah, I hunt with the seasons. So when it's archery season, I'm out there with the bow. When it's rifle season, I'm out there with the rifle. I'm a public land hunter.
Yep.
So, if I'm out there with a bow during rifle season,
good
everybody
luck.
else is going to get it, so
it makes sense. Yeah, there's no problem hunting either way. I was just curious what you primarily hunt, or like I kind of do the same, archery, obviously. I went shotgun season, so on. So, and you mentioned a couple states there. Do you hunt multiple states each year, or do you pick one and go with it for a year? What's your typical season look like?
See, I hunt in between South Carolina and Alabama mainly. This year I'm looking to venture up north, maybe to New Hampshire. But yeah, so typically my season starts in September, I think. Don't quote me on that. But I think September is when archery starts in South Carolina. And then rifle starts in October. So I'm scouting spring now, really. Hunting the full season of South Carolina. And then I hop over to Alabama to hunt the rut there, because the rut in Alabama is significantly different than South Carolina. So I get a pretty healthy hunting season from September to January.
Yeah, sounds like a fun season there.
Oh yeah.
Are you planning to venture, more west at all, or any bucket list hunts or stuff like that you want to do?
I mean, definitely. There's so many things I want to do. I would love to get a bull elk one day.
Yep, top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, whose list is it not on?
Yeah.
I'd love to
one I want to be friends with.
Yeah, right. I'd love to get some muleys one day. I mean,
Yep.
I would love to get as many things as I can.
Mhm.
I mean, not for the gluttony of just shooting, but for the experience. Like,
Experience. Yep.
even if I'm out in the mountains and I'm watching elk, I feel like that will be something that will satisfy that itch.
One up of watching them is just hearing the bugles. Like that's what I want. Like that sound through video gets you fired up. Imagine hearing that for real.
I couldn't imagine, to be honest. I hope to know one day.
I started building points for Wyoming, so in the future, it's definitely going to happen. I want to try doing some over-the-counter hunts to just get out there and experience it between now and then. So we'll kind of see how the story unfolds.
Yeah.
This year, if I get drawn, which hopefully should happen, I'm going to do a mule deer hunt in South Dakota because that's on my list as well. Then I would like to do a bear hunt too.
Yep, that's on my list. That's what I think.
Mhm.
I'm getting a South Carolina tag for black bear this year,
Mhm.
and this is a little ridiculous, but I was out scouting for whitetail,
Mhm.
and I walked up on black bear, and I was like, mental note.
Right.
I'm going to remember you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely want to do that. We don't have them here in Iowa.
Really?
I mean, hunting wise, we have whitetail. We obviously are one of the big whitetail states. So grateful for that. Turkey season is going to kick off here within, I think, a week or two. I don't know. So gonna hit that pretty hard. Then back to prep for deer season, honestly, scouting. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have private land too. I'll private and public hunt, just kind of depending what the conditions are. I'm like 2 hours from my farm, so
Nice.
it's close, but it's far enough you can't really drive there after work and hunt.
Right.
So I like to have some public around where I'm at too, to try to mix in and
Yep.
just get out there as much time in the woods as possible, really.
Definitely. Yeah. The public land I hunt is about an hour and 15 drive from my
Mhm.
house, from my main area.
Mhm.
And then used to be my secondary area, about 30 minutes. But
Mhm.
last season, I went to go scout that secondary area, and they paved a damn road through it.
Oh no.
I mean, the season before, there was sign everywhere. I walked up
Mhm.
on like someone had just gutted a deer and like
Mhm.
bumped it, and I was like, okay, that's good to know. So I had pins. I was e-scouting. I had scouted that place on foot, walked the whole area. Literally just 4 or 5 months time, a road is going.
No. Oh
Oh,
no.
I about fell to my knees out there. I was like, whoa.
Right. There's never enough public land and land in general, and then
Yeah,
showing up to that'd be quite the
broke my heart.
shocker. By the way, if anyone in the audience has questions at any point, feel free to throw them out. What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to, slap those follow buttons, share out the podcast, check out Rutt's many mounts on the platforms, and all that good stuff. So let's see, we talked some of your favorite hunting stories. We talked a little bit about where you hunt. I mean, we haven't got the pens out of you yet, but general idea. A little bit about your bucket list. Yeah, we'll track you down in no time there. You gave some Easter egg hints too on your use of topo. So
yeah, that's true. If you can decipher those, you'll know exactly where I hunt.
Right. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna send you some pins later.
Yeah. If I get a message from you and it's my pin, I will block you.
Let's do business first, then you can block me. Right? Yeah. All right. So, Joseph says, if you could hunt any non-domestic game, what would it be and why?
That's a great question. Oh, actually, I know. I actually do know. I would love to go to Hawaii and see the island that's just full of axis deer.
For sure. That's
I just want
on the list for me too. But if we're saying non-domestic,
I guess Hawaii is. Hey, let's cut that out.
Geography wasn't a strong point, guys. No.
I don't know. I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Yes, New Zealand, red stag.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Cape Buffalo, the Black Death.
Yeah.
I like adrenaline and thrill seeking type stuff. So really anything that could kill me But yeah, really just getting out there and experiencing it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones. To
Yeah.
be honest, I'm not really interested in African hunting. Like for some
Yeah.
reason, it just doesn't do it. I think I just love the taste of elk and venison a little too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need nothing else.
Right. Yeah. I think you hit a good one with red stag.
Yeah.
Those are phenomenal creatures.
Oh yeah. You ever
Yeah.
had
Good question though. Have I had what?
eaten alligator?
Just like at the restaurant chain. So nothing fresh. That's definitely something I want to do.
Yeah. I I always laugh, and I want to preface this with I'm not judging anybody. I'm glad people
Hmm.
hunt it. But there's a local archery shop near me.
Hmm.
In there, they just have pictures of people who go to the archery shop and their kills. And there's like a wall of guys who are posing up next to alligators with their bow and arrow. And I'm
Hmm.
like, that's awesome. Well, that's great. And I'm from Florida originally, and the alligators are everywhere. So it's like
Hmm.
you kill one, you're not making a dent. But they just sit there, like they literally just sit there. So I feel like that'd be the easiest hunt in the world. Like when I was in high school, we lived next to a lake. Alligators would just I'd get off the bus and they'd just be sitting there.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah. I'm
afraid
not
at all.
sure.
You just walk up and plunk
I'm
it.
not sure. I know a lot of them are from the boats when they
Yeah.
hunt them because I believe they'll essentially snag them, right, and then shoot and pull it in or whatever. But yeah, I definitely want to get down and eat some alligator. But
It tastes great.
I've heard that. Like I said, I've had it at some restaurant chains, and
Yeah. Like
I'm
gator
not gonna
restaurants
really.
or something. Or,
Yeah, like gator bites or something like that. Yeah, there's
right.
like one local place that'll have them.
Yeah, I can't imagine a gator in Iowa is very fresh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I definitely want to try some fresh stuff. I do plan to get down to that area at some point.
Okay, yeah.
Down to Florida. I have some friends down there I need to go visit and that.
You'd go hunt python in the Everglades.
I'm not a big snake person.
Whoa! You said something that would kill you.
Yeah, that's fair. I have to stick to my words. So I guess we can go on one together.
I'd be down.
Yeah.
You lead the way.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, if there's anything that's going to kill you, wading through waist high water in the Everglades hunting python.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be an experience.
Have you seen that guy on Instagram that does it like barefoot with no weapons?
Yeah, people are insane. I think I've seen some of his stuff pop up. Like, yeah, no thanks.
He like grabs everything he sees and he's like, "You're not the 20-foot python." He'll toss it back.
Right?
Like,
Just like scratch the head of like a gator or something. Like, hi, little guy.
Calls them swamp puppies.
Right? Just smacks his tail. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, let's go with him. If we go, we'll call him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he'll answer our call.
Yeah. I'll offer him a free Python mini mount, which I guess would just be a straight line.
Let's see. Edith. Hey, Jake, tell Daniel we have plenty of alligators here. Love your hat.
Who said that?
There, I threw it up on the screen for you.
Alligators in Eufaula? I did not know they were there. At least plenty of them. And thank you.
All right, that looks like the questions for now. So yeah, we talked bucket list, non-domestic game. What's kind of your off season look like in terms of your scouting? Like, do you go shed hunt? Are you out there regularly, boots on the ground? What's it consist of for you?
Yeah, so I don't really shed hunt for a few reasons. One, I don't know. It's never really scratched an itch for me.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you're on public land out here where I'm at. The day, the day that the season or the day that they start dropping, there's hordes of people out there in the woods looking for them. So competing against all those people plus the squirrels that like to munch them up,
Right?
it's just I don't know. I not a time investment that I'm willing to make. But as far as the off season and scouting, I do a ton of e-scouting on it, dropping pins, looking at burns, anything. And then I just like to get out there. Like I said, my best friend that I mentioned before, where we like to hunt, it's about an hour and 15 from me, and it's an hour like from him opposite. So we
Mhm.
kind of meet up in the middle. And yeah, we just hike. Him and I, we'd like to go we like to go places where we think no one else is willing to go.
Right.
We'll walk through that thicket that will rip your clothes off,
Mhm.
just to see what's on the other side. We'll get miles in there, just to see what's back there. So, yeah, scouting like crazy on the foot hunt,
Mhm.
mixed with a little bit of e-scouting to try to, because it's not good to go in there blind.
Right.
It's so we try to figure out where we're going to go, and I want to emphasize the importance of getting out there and scouting and just trying to figure out where they are. So, an example I want to bring up is, so like I said, we scout like crazy
Mhm.
on public land. You kind of have to,
Mhm.
but we'll go out, I mean, miles, and we'll be hiking all day, from sun up to sunset.
Mhm.
But one of the best places that we've ever found for hunting was about 100 yards from a road.
That is something that has been coming up more and more commonly. Is I think there's a lot of these public land hunting channels out there, and they're giving these people the drive, to go hunt public, which awesome, it's there for that. But they've instilled this image that the deeper you go, no one's going to be there the better. So now more and more people
Are
are
going deep.
going deeper. So then the stuff close gets left
Yeah.
less touched.
Oh yeah. I've had a lot of success in certain spots where I can
Mhm.
still see my car.
Right.
Like I'm 30 feet up in the tree, and I'm like, oh crap, did I lock the doors? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. And there's deer walking out in front of me. It's yeah, like you said, there's a lot more. I've definitely noticed a lot more people out there and yeah, so it's the importance of scouting. And don't leave a stone unturned. If I
Mhm.
would have pulled up to the road and gone, okay, I'm too close to the road here, there's definitely not going to be anything, I would have missed out on a lot of good kills.
Right.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, you got to be where they are.
During shotgun season, I went late season this year, and Iowa shotgun is the busiest season of the
Really?
season. Yeah, because a lot of guys have those age-old traditions of doing deer drives and all that. So there's just swarms of people coming in to hunt. And um, my farm, we're having issues there. So we're like, we're going to go hit some public. And I mean, non-maintained mud roads that should be swamps were just compacted because of all the tire tracks. So it had been hit hard. So I ended up, my buddy and I, we walked, I think it was 7 miles throughout this big plot of public land. Didn't see a single thing. You saw signs where they had been, but didn't see a single deer. And then we're walking back to the truck, and probably 100 or 200 yards from the truck was in sight. A small doe crosses. That was the only deer we saw, and it was on the way back. But it's like, we went super deep in, didn't see a
Right
dang thing. And granted, nothing that we wanted to harvest, but something, some sign of life. So,
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's
yeah.
hilarious. It's so funny, like especially whitetail.
Mhm.
They're predictable, but they're also not. Like I think they're a lot smarter than people give them
Yes.
credit for.
I,
They know what's going on.
yeah, I say this quite a bit. You can pattern a deer as much as you possibly want or think you can pattern a deer, but in the end, that's an animal that has free will. It can make its own choices.
Yeah,
So, yes, having all the data is good, but it doesn't mean that there isn't a little bit of luck to it, that it's going to follow that same pattern today and show up.
exactly. And like I don't know. This is just me. I truly think they know what's going on, and I think they're a lot smarter. Even when even when they walk up on you and you think they don't know you're there, I swear sometimes they do. I had a nice buck one time. And, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
nice buck. I was up in a tree. It was archery season, and I refuse to make a shot past like 50. I just refuse. I don't trust myself enough past 50,
Mhm.
and so many things could happen past 50. So if
Mhm.
it's past 50, I refuse to even take the shot.
I think that's something more hunters should do, is know their limit and like give themselves a hard line for their limit. because so many people just sling arrows and wound deer.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, I've wounded deer before, and it keeps me up. I mean, I think about that deer every single night. So, I do my darndest to make sure that everything I do is perfect in the moment. But this buck, I swear he knew I was there. I was up in a tree. He comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like he's beelining straight for me. So I grab my bow. I'm ready. He stops at like 53 yards. So I'm like, okay, he's gonna come. So he starts eating. He's gobbling up acorns. I mean, this is a vacuum cleaner for acorns. So I drop my bow a little bit, get my rangefinder out. 53. I'm like, all right. This deer made a full 360 circle around me, never once
going within your range. That's hilarious.
It made his pattern made no sense. And my buddy, I texted him. I was like, "Big buck on me," and he texted me. He's like, "Let me know when he's down." That deer sat with me for I think like an hour and a half. I mean, the slowest he could be eating acorns around me, and his pattern. I mean, he'd like almost juke me out. It looked like he was about to start, and he'd be like, "Nope," and then he'd start walking that circle again. And the only thing that I could think of watching his pattern, because it made no sense, was he knew I was there, and he just felt safe at this certain distance. Maybe he knew, maybe something in the cosmos told him like, "Hey, that guy's not going to shoot you unless you come within 50." So he stayed perfectly out of range.
His lucky day, huh?
Yeah, and there was times where he was standing perfectly still, full broadside. I could lean up against the tree and get so steady, like he used to shoot past 50.
Right.
And
you had your limit.
I'm telling you.
You had your limit.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We have lots of deer in our own yard here. Of course, we live across the road from the lake.
Very nice. I wonder how, and it's interesting, like what you just said. I always wonder how much big water structures like that play into their patterns.
Oh, like lakes and
right. Yeah. Like, I mean, we know that they have to drink water and stuff, but most of the time, at least in my experience, deer heading towards small creeks, streams, stuff like that, stuff they still feel safe. So I'm very curious how like big water structures like that.
I mean, I would think they definitely like the draws, because often those big water structures will have kind of creeks that come up, or the draws, coves, whatever. But I mean, yeah, if they're thirsty, they're thirsty. They're going to come up and take a drink.
Definitely.
Yeah, some of our biggest public hunting area in Iowa is around one of the big lakes, and there's lots and lots of deer out there.
All along the lake, or just
yeah, it's like all within the coves, kind of around the lake, and just there's a lot of public land just in general right around it. It's where I do a lot of my pheasant hunting, and then some deer hunting and stuff.
Very nice.
Do you hunt anything other than deer at this point?
Like actively hunt, not really. I'll shoot at hogs and coyotes. But this actually was going to be my first season giving turkey hunting a go. That was another thing that I just never really tickled my fancy. But we've been so busy with Rutt's mini mounts that I mean, the South Carolina turkey season's going on right now.
Right.
I just can't find time to step away. So I'm going to have to push it back to next season, I think.
Yep. I just started turkey hunting last season.
Okay.
And this season, I'm going to make it happen this season.
Yeah.
I decided I'm doing it archery. And nothing like getting humbled by something with a brain the size of a peanut. So,
but those things will spot you from a mile
their
away.
vision is ridiculous. I had an opportunity that I could have harvested one last year, but it was a bearded hen, and I just felt wrong doing it during nesting season. So I let her walk, and I didn't make it out until like the end of late season. So they had all been hunted and pressured and all this at that point. And then I had some bad weather. One of the days it was 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that kicked in. They just went silent, and learned a lot. Had an absolute blast being outside. So loved it, and here I am getting ready to do it again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This year has a different outcome, though. Calling it now.
All right, we'll want to see it. Oh,
James, I've heard they're also killing alligators and pythons in Florida because they're killing white-tailed deer in Florida. I've heard that too.
me as well. There's that famous photo that was going around. I think like a news helicopter got it or something. It was an alligator had eaten a deer, and then a python had eaten that alligator and exploded. Have you seen that?
I didn't see that.
Oh,
That sounds.
you gotta look that up. It's crazy. I mean, it's as you could imagine it. It's like
Mhm.
alligators exploded with a deer inside of it, and then a python is exploded with the alligator inside of it.
Jesus, that is
It's like, oh my gosh! And people, they're like, comments are like, what's going on in Florida?
right. Yeah, Florida can sort itself out, man.
But back to turkeys, I have a kind of a funny story about them. I was out; it was during whitetail season, and I get out in the woods early. Like I try to be out there as early as possible. I also kind of like just being out there in the dark and listening to the woods wake up.
Yes, yes.
It's like the best feeling. I try to describe that to my wife. I'm like, you just gotta be there.
I say the same damn thing basically every podcast, that there's nothing on this earth that is more like rewarding for the soul than just being in the woods listening to the world wake up. The birds start chirping, the squirrels,
Oh, yeah.
watching the world wake up.
It's the best. But one day I was out there and I was up in the tree, and I usually climb between like 15 to 30 feet, depending on what I'm hunting. If I'm hunting tickets or cutovers or whatever. This day I was about 25 feet up in the tree, and it's pitch black. The sun doesn't rise for a good another hour and a half, and it sounds like an Apache helicopter is like flying above me. And I'm like, I'm sitting on my tree. It's pitch black. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it was like 4 or 5 turkeys coming to roost in the tree I was in. And so, I mean, I had an hour and a half till sunrise. And so I was like, okay, I want to be as still as possible because I want to see how close.
Right.
So I sat there, I mean, dead still. I was like consciously thinking about my breathing to where I didn't make like a loud breathing noise, nothing. So sun comes up and these turkeys are right above me. I mean, right there. And they're, it's so funny. They're sitting there sleeping. Every now and then they wake up, look around, put their head back. And it was actually awesome to see. But I'm out there to whitetail hunt. Right. So I need them to leave. And so I sat perfectly still for probably 4.5 hours because I was like, I didn't want to cause a commotion. It got to the point where, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that when you sit still and when you're hunting long enough, I mean, everything itches, everything's aching.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to move. But finally, I couldn't take it anymore. So I laugh thinking about it all the time. All I did was I picked my hand up and I went, hey, just like that. I said, hey, and I wrote my hand. And they were like, They took off out. I mean, to them, I was probably an alien. They've been sleeping there for hours, and they were like, nothing's here. And it scared the crap out of them. It sounded like a rocket was taking off out of that tree.
Funny enough, I kind of have the inverse of that story from last year turkey hunting. Okay. I was on my farm, and I was posted up on the ground kind of behind a tree, and I'm sitting here, and I had some turkeys like gobbling, back off in the distance. And I had done some calling. I was kind of just waiting, seeing kind of what happened. And I look up and there's a buck in velvet, and he just slowly just walks right up to me, literally probably got 10 feet from me. And I'm like, hey buddy, literally I'm like, hey buddy, could you, go away? I'm here. And he just stopped, looked at me. He didn't blow. He didn't spook anything. He just like turned around and walked the other way. He's like, okay, see you, man. Like,
which takes me back to my other point of they know. Yeah.
He's just so relaxed. He's like, you can't shoot me.
Yeah,
see ya.
You're to shoot turkeys. I'm good. Like, no.
Yeah. It was just like, okay. It was the most casual encounter with a deer.
That had to have been awesome though.
It was. I have a video of it on my phone. I'll have to go back and find it, but he literally just walked right up to me and then just casually turned around and went the other way.
That's
like,
awesome.
See you this fall, buddy.
Yeah, right. He's like, I won't be here when you're here.
Steven, any plans to buy some private land? I mean, for me, that's the dream. Always the dream to have more land. The economy we're in, who frickin' knows? I don't know if you've looked at land prices. That is insane.
Oh yeah,
I'm lucky enough that we have 80 acres in the family, but like I said, the end goal is more. I'll make it happen. We'll just see how quickly it happens.
definitely. I think the same for me. I mean, that's definitely the goal. Um, I kind of, you know how people like look at Zillow at houses that they can't afford. I look at land that I can't afford. Yeah, the dream is one day to own some land, probably put a house in the middle of it.
Hmm.
I'd love to have some animals, cow, donkeys, some Great Pyrenees to guard them, and live out live out in the sticks and never see another person again.
Yeah, that's a pretty good goal if you look at today's society.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, I live in Iowa, and between farming, obviously, and then just outfitters buying up every little piece of land, it's hard. It's all expensive. You have absolute garbage land going for, 10, 12 grand an acre. So,
Yeah, it's in South Carolina. It's crazy too. I think South Carolina was one of the most moved to states since like the beginning of um, everything that's gone on in the last few years.
yeah.
And so I think landowners and big corpo people who just buy up land and try to sell it back to little guys, I think they see the mass migration to South Carolina, and so they're like,
Mhm.
30K an acre.
Right. Yeah, it makes it hard, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and it's not even. It's like I'd understand if it was like 30K an acre for the most nutrient-rich
Yeah,
soil and great
prime.
hardwoods, and a water source that's clean. But it's like enjoy the property next to the dump.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, all right, here's this old flooding creek bottom, like,
Yeah, exactly. You not build grade. You are not allowed to put anything
yeah.
here.
Yep. Buy enough land so nobody can build next to you for sure. That would be the absolute dream.
That it. Yep. I feel like that's everybody's dream. Now we're all
So
competing for the same land.
you guys are going to need to buy some more veganless hats, wraps, all that stuff for that to happen, and you're going to have to go buy some Rutt's mini mounts. Like, someone's got to fuel our dreams, right?
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Shameless self plugs.
Definitely. Yeah, we just
So
launched the gold mini mount today. Did you see that?
I did not see that yet.
Hold on, let me grab this for you. I'm super excited about this. So we're doing, just dropped it, gold right now. We're going to do full body mounts eventually, but gold custom Euro mounts.
There we go.
Replicas of your mounts. We can turn shoulders into Euros and everything. And solid gold. I mean, obviously it's painted gold.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love these things. They start at only $20. So it's
Yeah,
a
that's
great
awesome.
way to make that memory live on in stylish fashion.
Right. So yeah, I think this is a good segue into let's talk about Rutt's Mini Mounts. How did you get started? Tell me your story.
Yeah, so the story of Rutt's Mini Mounts is pretty simple, to be honest. It actually goes back to that first favorite hunting story that I had. Both my father-in-law and I had very good seasons. We both got big bucks, and sent them off to the taxidermist. I think we took him to the taxidermist, 2 days apart. And I was laying in bed one day, and I was just going, like, gosh, I wish that he could enjoy my mount and have it with him, and I could enjoy his and have it with me. Because like I said, that's my favorite hunting story is when he got his deer. So
Right.
I'd love to have that mount some way. And I was laying in bed, and I was just thinking about that, and I had already had kind of a background in 3D modeling and all that stuff. So it hit me. I was like, oh, what if I just made replicas? Like, I feel like I could figure out how to do that. So I hopped out of bed, went to the computer, and I was like, okay, I grabbed one of my Euro mounts off the wall. I was like, okay, how can I do this? Blah, blah, blah. And by the time my wife woke up in the morning, I was like, I figured it out. And she's like, what?
Did you sleep? Like,
no.
no.
And so I was, had that idea, and I did it for a while, but didn't think that it would be a business. Never thought. For me, it was just like a fun little trinket that I was doing.
Right. It's like Yeah, this is cool to do.
Yeah, I
People
was like,
actually want to buy this.
yeah. And so one day I was like, you know what? I was in this hunting forum thing to post it. I'm like, I'm gonna show the deer, I'm gonna show the mini mount, and the posts went insane. Everyone was like,
Mhm.
"Where did you do this?" I'll get it right now.
Where can I buy it? Yeah.
Right, and I was like, I had zero plan, I had zero structure. I was like, "Oh, I can make them for you,"
Mhm.
and didn't know how I would like receive them. Did not do anything.
Right.
So I kind of just gave. I was like, "All right, Jake, you committed. You have to do this now." So
Mhm.
I gave myself like a few days to figure everything out, and yeah, it was doing really well. Then we launched the social media pages, and they're
Mhm.
doing great. And yeah, we've been busy ever since.
Yeah, it seems like your Instagram's definitely growing in size rather quickly.
It's
Mhm.
I have to admit that my career, uh, my whole career has been like advertising, marketing, and social
Yeah.
entertainment. So I'm very familiar with the algorithms and
Mhm.
landscapes and stuff. So I just kind of put my full focus on that,
Yep.
and it's paying off. So much support, so much support. I mean, overwhelming support. People who were you know out there advertising for me and supporting me and doing everything. It's been humbling, and it's been so awesome to see. And I just hope that I'm able to give an ounce of the support that I've got back to the community and anything
Right.
they want to do, because it's just been awesome.
Right. Let's see some of your stuff back there.
Yeah. So you already saw the gold one.
Yep.
This right here is a medium euro, and this was actually turned into a euro from a shoulder mount. And so I'll just hold it up in my hand where you can kind of see the size. But
Nice.
super, great size, versatile. This one has a stand on it, but we can put
Mhm.
lights on them to where a lot of people like hanging them from the rear view mirror. That's what
Yeah.
I like. We also do the mini racks to hang from the rear view
Mhm.
mirror. This is an elk that we did. This is one of our larger sizes. So, I mean, so the rack is taking up most of the mass.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, stuff like this. And then that's the tiny little,
Mhm.
his name is Bandit. And you can see how small he is. But yes, I mean, we've got everything. We can do shoulder mounts, full body mounts. We can do fish, birds. We have a guy who just placed an order 2 days ago who's getting a mountain lion done. So I'm excited to do that one.
One thing that I wouldn't be surprised if would do well is like people's pets, like their dogs and stuff.
So we've had people request that.
Yeah.
We've done a few of those. The biggest issue, and there's
Painting.
not even painting. It's getting their pet to sit still to get the
That's
video.
true because you do the 360 video and all that.
It's a lot of the times you can, because the video is, we've made the process very easy to get
Yeah,
to.
I watched that earlier, your tutorial video. I did watch that.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like we've made it pretty easy.
Yeah, it seemed pretty easy to follow along, pretty straightforward.
But it has to be like pretty strict within that format that we've set. To do a mini mount of your dog, and your dog is just so happy to see you, and his head's following the camera.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty much impossible to get his head exact. So stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, people have requested some crazy stuff.
Right. Ground fog. Hello. How you doing, buddy? All right. And let's see. So we talked a little bit about how you got started there, showed off some of your products. Do you have any upcoming specials, new products coming? I know you said the gold is a new one.
Yep. So the gold came out today, the gold euros. We've got
Yes.
gold full body mounts coming out. And so I should preface that we're able to do all this already. And we do full bodies and birds and fish, but they're all custom orders.
Yes. You're standardizing it into individual. Yep.
Right. So yeah. So now pretty soon going forward on the website, you'll be able to just go on the website and purchase your bird mount and purchase your fish mount instead of having to message me to get a custom order link. So
right.
We got some cool stuff coming out, ramping up production. I mean, the thing is, every single one of these is hand painted.
Yep.
And so what I like to tell people is, the mini mount you get is one of one. Even if you get multiple in one order, they're all going to be slightly different from one another because they're
Yeah.
handmade. And so they're one of one, just like the animal that they represent. And no one's ever going to have your hunting story. No one's ever going to have your buck. Every single
Right.
one's unique, just like these.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love doing it, man.
Right. Yeah, it's such a unique product, I think, in the niche. And it's been cool kind of seeing, it's always been traditional taxidermy. And it's been cool seeing these new kind of ideas brought to the space. Like I'm sure you've seen the digital taxidermy where they're recreating like paintings essentially, or digital paintings of your animal in different habitats. So yeah,
That's awesome. What is that?
It's called, I don't remember the name of the company that does it, but it's digital taxidermy. So they'll literally make like essentially a digital painting of, say, your deer in whatever mock environment. It's pretty neat. So they'll do canvases of your deer.
That's awesome. I got to look that up. And I know a new one that came out yesterday. I think their company launched yesterday. It's called Buck Prints. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
It's basically, I hope I don't butcher the explanation of their business, but it's basically they're taking like your grip and grins photos from your deer, and they're able to like kind of cutting that out and making it stickers for you, to where you have your grip and grins and you can stick them wherever you want. Like I don't know if it's magnets or stickers or what, but it's pretty sick. I placed an order last night.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, it's cool to see. It's cool to see and
innovation, not copy pasting the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and to be involved in it, it's like the new era of hunting. It's cool to see everything that's coming out and be a part of it. Be in the hunting sphere and be hunting and be someone who enjoys hunting while all this innovation is coming out.
Generations to Hunt podcast says, I'm pretty sure that's their name, Digital Taxidermy. I thought so too, but I didn't remember for certain. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can share many details, but mind sharing anything or any hints, teasers of what the new brand is?
Oh, Raccoon Rigs?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's hence the hat. Building up that digital presence of Raccoon Rigs. I can't go into too much detail, but basically, we have invented a climber that is lighter, faster, and quieter than anything on the market. Up and down a tree way quicker. Like I said, sometimes I'm hiking deep. Public land, you don't want to be carrying big climbers or those the ladders, that you They're loud, they're clunky, and they take forever. And so we have solved that problem. And I've been using this invention for I think 2 seasons now, putting it through. I mean, just torture testing the poor thing, and I can't go back. They're so much better. So much easier to use and so much lighter that let me give you an example. I used them all these seasons hunting 3-4 times a week. And one day I was going to go hunt a cutover, and I was going to go as high as I could in a pine tree. And my buddy was like, hey, you're going that high up, take one of these like big metal clunky climbers, super secure, super safe. I was like, you know what, fine, because it was kind of a windy day.
Right.
And so borrowed his climber. I went out to this tree and I was climbing, and I was like, gosh, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is so slow, so loud, and it was heavy as heck getting it out here. It sucks. So I got like 15 feet up the tree, and I was like, you know what? No. I dropped it, hopped out of the tree. I sprinted as fast as I could back to where my car was parked. I grabbed my Raccoon rig and got back to the tree, and I felt so secure and so safe. And I was up that tree like 30, 35, 40 feet in no time. And it was so comfortable. And so I was like, okay, this was just concrete proof to me that I'm never going back. So, we have a lot of interest around it. We're going to be at a few expos coming up with the Raccoon Rig products. And I think when people see it in action and see the price point, it's way more affordable than anything else on the market that is used for that purpose,
Right.
yeah, I think people are going to be pretty excited.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to maybe get you on again once you can speak more on that and everything. Another question, Lizard, how is the difficulty for new hunters / someone who has never climbed before? I'm assuming you're talking about the climber he just mentioned.
Yeah, so it's a great question. I would say a lot easier to understand than, you know, some of these other traditional climbers. So you've got those big metal clanky ones where you got 4 separate pieces. You got the piece that you sit in, the piece that your foot goes in, and the metal pieces that attach to the tree, and you're shimmying up the tree. You know, someone who's a new hunter is probably gonna have a little bit of trouble with that. And then these ladder stands, you know, they're pretty self-explanatory, but they're a hassle. You know, you got to get one on, you tighten it, you climb up, you put the next one on. The Rack and Rigs products are going to be are way easier. User error is limited to almost nothing, and barrier to entry is nothing. It's so self-explanatory. It's so simple. It's so light, and that's, you know, that's my goal, is to get people into hunting more and to enjoy hunting more. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure, you know, you're a bow hunter. Getting into hunting is expensive.
Yes.
I mean, especially in today's world where it's like, gosh, you know, you're watching these people online and they're like, oh, you have to have this product, and I use this. It can be overwhelming. I feel like it could persuade people to not hunt. And so with the Rack and Rigs products, you know, we're probably going to be the best priced, or amongst the best priced on the market, and the easiest to use. So hoping that a lot of people see this and go, okay, you know what? I would like to try getting into hunting, and I'll use this.
Awesome. Yeah, excited to see it when you have more you can share.
Excited to show you, man. I'll have to send you one. Do you climb to hunt?
Yeah, I traditionally saddle hunt, but I'm kind of open to everything. So,
well, this is for saddle hunting, so that's perfect.
So perfect. Would love to check it out then.
Yeah.
Edith, Jake, where does the name Rutt's Mini Mounts come from? Why not Jake's Mini Mounts?
It's named after my dog, Rutt, who, you know, he was named long before this business was a thing. And his name was perfect for it. I mean, I named him after the Rutt. And so Rutt's Mini Mounts just kind of flows off the tongue. I don't know if you've ever seen, he's a fun little mascot holding the Euro mount with the magnifying glass. So he's my little buddy, and it only seemed right to have him front and center of the brand.
Will he sit still long enough to do a video? Nope. You're like, does it look like I have one of them? Because there would be.
Not a chance. He is. His battery is endless.
Neither of my dogs would either. So I have a 9-month-old chocolate lab. She is batshit crazy. And then I have a German Shepherd that's 6. Maybe she would, but
yeah,
not counting on it.
Yeah,
not counting on it.
Yeah, maybe if I held a treat up and like told him to stay, he might for a little bit. But
had the wife or like had the wife hold one and then you circle around or something.
Yeah. He probably like, what are you doing behind me?
Yeah, right. All right. Do we have any more questions at the moment? Looks good there. All right, perfect. Want to make sure we aren't missing anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely excited to see the new business launch, and loving that you're saying you're getting way busy with Ruts too. So awesome to hear, especially in today's world. So
yeah, I appreciate that. And, you know, it's nice to, you know, be like kind of what we're doing with Rack and Rigs. You know, barrier to entry monetary wise is going to be a lot easier to handle and digest than some of the bigger competitors and the big brands. In today's world, I think it's my personal opinion. I think it's more important than ever to get into hunting now. Become self-sufficient, know how to get your own food, understand how to get in the woods and survive. And, you know, being able to offer something that is a little bit less expensive to get that is great. It makes me feel good to be able to offer that. And kind of the same thing with Rutt's Mini Mounts. I mean, that gold one starts off at $20. You know, I've recently found out about competitors in this space.
Yes.
I'm sure that was a whole big deal, but nobody can compete with the prices that we have. for me, it wasn't about, like I told you, I didn't think this would be a business. So when I launched it, it wasn't about, oh, let's make money. I mean, I have a full-time job still that I still work.
Yeah.
It wasn't about making money. It was about, hey, I really wish I had my father's mouth. I'm sure there's someone out there who wish they had theirs.
Right.
And so being able to offer these at a lower price, so people could have those memories, is great. And then, another product we offer is the mini mimics, which is if a mount has been destroyed or lost or stolen.
I was about to bring that up. I think I saw something about one was lost in a house fire.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have a lot of orders like that. Until I started this business, I didn't realize how prevalent house fires were. Honestly, you see about them and stuff, but you never really. It doesn't seem that common.
It's one of those things too. Like, sure, you can get insurance money maybe to replace some of the cost of the taxidermy, but you can't replace that ever.
Exactly. And so with the mini mimics, based off even just one picture, as long as it's we can see the one picture. We create close reconstructions of the mounts, and it'll never be exact. Or at least I just don't have that technology or the skill yet to make it perfectly exact. But it's a very close reconstruction, and the people we've done it for are like, thank you so much. And, the memories that we lost are now back, and
right, as close as we can get.
Yeah, and it makes me so happy. I mean, this guy right here, if I lost him, I'd be destroyed. And so being able to kind of bring those memories back to people is just so fulfilling.
Right. Yeah, definitely awesome there. And how long did you say you've been actually had this launched, like in business?
So as a business, I believe since, don't quote me on this, but I think October of last year. So it's very new.
Right.
I've been doing it for longer than that, but as a business since then. And then we focused mainly on like these hunting forums because again, I didn't think it would be like this.
Right.
And so I think we made the Instagram in I want to say this late December or early January of this year. And like I said, the support has just been overwhelming.
Right. Yeah, I saw you guys had obviously followed, and I was checking the stuff out, and it's pretty unique. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, I can't.
I'm a fan.
I got fed one of your reels, and it made me like audibly laugh out loud, and I was like, I gotta follow this guy.
yeah, I definitely will throw out a bunch of just pure comedy, like reels and dumb moments and stuff. But
you got me.
We self-film, and now we have an intern to film for me too and help offset some of that. But film all my hunts and have the YouTube channel, and then now the podcast. As I mentioned, we're episode 8 now, so that's chugging along. And we have apparel, some merchandise. Actually, I haven't thrown them on the website yet. They'll be on maybe after this, but we have now podcast stickers.
Nice. Heck yeah.
So stay tuned for those if anyone wants to support the podcast. But, we have our products. Haven't really pushed those too much yet. We're kind of growing and just trying to build brand reputation and a bond with all of you. So usually post, memes throughout the day and just fun, general lighthearted content, and then working on more long form content too. So it'll be end of May, I think, will be 1 year.
Okay. Wow.
Veganless. So it's came along pretty well. Yeah. Everyone always comments on the name. Anti-hunters hate it. Hunters think it's the most hilarious thing ever, but either way, both of them talk about it. So Hey, wild game freaks, you need one? Definitely. I will have those up hopefully tonight or upcoming days. And,
I like the name of your whole brand that you're building a lot too. My path into hunting is a lot. I wasn't raised hunting. No one around me hunted. And, I got to be very honest, when I was young and in high school, my perception of hunters was like that Hollywood perception, like guy with a beer who was shooting anything that walked past him. So a lot of my life, I was like, oh my gosh, hunters are the worst.
Right.
And I can't really pinpoint exactly when it was, but one day me and my wife, we started getting like super deep into reading about food and where our food came
Hmm.
from.
Oh, that's
And
scary. Yeah.
oh, and yeah, I mean, we've never been the same. We're like freaks now because of it.
Hmm.
But the deeper I got, I was like, okay, well, I eat genuinely healthy or generally healthy.
Hmm.
I got a pretty balanced diet,
Hmm.
and then I was like, well, let me see where my meat comes from. And that's when I like got opened up to the world of factory farming.
Yep.
And I'm not vegan at all, but I will stand
Hmm.
with them against factory farming. It's terrible. So one day I was like, you know what? I've got to figure out what's the best way to get my meat from, because I'm not supporting factory farming. I can't.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, well, there's farmers markets and local farms and stuff. I was like, I can do better than that. So I was like, I feel like it's only right if I'm going to eat meat to go get it myself.
Yeah.
And so I dove head first into hunting, and I
Yeah.
encourage everybody else to go down that same path.
You really connect with your primal instinct while you're out in the woods too. And like you get caught up so much in the day-to-day life and the stress and the bills and all that. There's nothing more rewarding than just going out and sitting in the woods, just disconnected from everything, just relaxed at peace. It's like I said earlier, good for the soul. Wild game freaks, same here. Didn't hunt until I was 21. And see, that's a big thing with the Veganless brand too. There's a million channels out there that are, professional, whatever, big hunters, trophy hunters, you name it. And really the goal for this all along, and continues to be the goal, is to bring in new hunters, really connect with people that maybe aren't to that level yet, but kind of help grow along the way to reach whatever level they desire. You know, sure, everyone would love a huge buck. Not always
Right.
feasible. Big motto is, if it makes you happy, harvest it, use it, pay due respect to that animal. Utilize every bit of it you can. So that's always a big goal. We do our comedy stuff, but in the end, we want to bring in new hunters, have kind of a light heart to hunting, and help people that maybe don't understand it understand it.
Definitely.
All right. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to ask. I want to give you the floor right now to give any sort of self plugs or shout outs, anything you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've said it all. Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me on here. If anybody has mounts that they'd like made into mini mounts, like I've said a million times in this podcast, we can do them with just a video. You can just submit that video directly on our website, and we can turn euros into shoulders, shoulders into euros, sheds into anything and anything in between. So there's a lot of options for everybody. Starting at $20, you can get a gold replica mount of yours. And yes, stay tuned for Raccoon Rigs coming out hopefully this July. I truly feel like it's going to change the future of saddle hunting, bring new hunters into the culture and lifestyle, and really my goal is to drive a new era of hunting, hunters, and the culture around both of them. So stay tuned. And I mean, again, the support already with everything has been overwhelming. I can't thank everybody enough. So seriously, thank you.
Be sure to look them up on Instagram. You're on Facebook, right? And
yep. Instagram, Facebook is our main areas, and then our website.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And as always, be sure to check out the Veganless brand. So this is live streamed now. It will continue to live on our YouTube under the playlists, the podcast playlist. And then this will go in audio format out to podcast land. So it'll go to Spotify, Apple, you name it. So yeah, thanks again for watching. We definitely need to get in contact when you can about the Raccoon Rigs.
Definitely. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited to hear about it. Yep. So thank you so much. We will go ahead and cut this for the night. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be back again. Have at it.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.